Hello everyone and welcome to another random bits and pieces segment from my brain, and today sit a while for we are playing some more Franchise Hockey Manager 6 as part of the Ottawa Senators at the start of the 2009 and 2010 season. So nothing too much of a distant past at this point. Catching up on the years. So today is August 12th in real life, the day after the crazy quintuple overtime game that Tampa Bay and Columbus played yesterday. That was something else. I can only imagine how well those players slept after playing basically over 2 hockey games. So today we are going to start a new season. As usual, prior to shooting the video, I've looked at my lineup and who performed how during the preseason and everything, and I have settled on my opening day lineup. There's a couple surprises as usual, so we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that real quick before we get started. So this is the opening day lineup. Now keep in mind Zdeno Chara is hurt, so one of those defensemen is going to get relegated back to the minors once he comes back. So in net there's absolutely no surprise. It's Brian Elliott and Ryan Miller, although I'm starting to debate parting with one of the two since coaches seem to have an issue with starting Miller from time to time. So on D I have Matt Onwick, Andre Mazaros, Anton Volchenkov, Drew Doughty, Alex Pietrangelo, Scott Niedermayer, and Mark Streit. So not too many surprises on D, but I do have a couple surprises at forward. So up front I have Pavel Datsyuk, Martin Avlat, Chris Kelly, Nick Drazenovich. They managed to get a spot on the team. So I understand he is only a 1-star player, but it's his last contract here and he had a okay camp, so why not? Brooks like Mike Fisher, Sam Gagner, Joe Thornton, Martin Ansel, kind of the same deal as Drazenovich. So also on the last year, only a 1-star, but did get a decent look in training camp. Spezza Khan, Osa Eves, and Radulov. Now, probably the biggest name that I have that did not make it to the starting roster would be our friend that's been on D for us for a long time, but he started to decline, and that would be our friend Sheldon Souris. So Sheldon Souris is a 2-star defenseman, and he's been struggling a little bit more in the past couple of years and everything. And he had a horrible training camp, so he's in the minors, and I've put him on the trade block. Maybe somebody's going to offer me something for him. That would be great. But other than that, unless there are injuries, I do not plan on bringing him back up unless he tears it up down there or something. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So we are going to move up to the start of the season. And Joe Thornton's about to come back. Those guys need to clear waivers. Alright, Joe Thornton is back. Oh, and Toronto claimed... Oh no, they waived Antiniemi. Wow, okay. Alright, so let's take a look and see if there's any players that I want on waivers. So Antiniemi is probably the... Well, I could maybe claim Niemi and keep him as a backup and then trade either Elliott or Ryan Miller. How about that? I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm going to try to claim him. I might not even get him. That's the only player I'm gonna claim. and I got him. Hey, alrighty. Alright, and Zdeno Chara is about to start training again, which means he's about 2 weeks away. Alright, with the National Hockey League season about to get underway, the early Stanley Cup favorites appear to be Ottawa, led by goalie Ryan Miller. Yeah, that remains to be seen. It might be led by goalie Brian Elliott again. I don't know. General Manager Jesse Bonhomme has built a squad that will be the team to beat this year, but they can expect challenges from Ray Shiro's Nashville Predators and Montreal, featuring goalie Carey Price. Among the dark horses, Pittsburgh stands out as a possible challenger, with a big season by Sidney Crosby capable of pushing them into contender status. The scoring race will likely see Pittsburgh's Sidney Crosby challenged by Pavel Datsyuk of Ottawa and San Jose's Joe Pavelski. The top defenseman in the league is generally considered to be Florida Panthers blue liner Jay Bouwmeester, with Chicago's Duncan Keith and Andrei Markov of Montreal also in the running. Finally, among goaltenders, Montreal's Carey Price stands out as the league's best, while Ottawa Senators netminder Ryan Miller and Tuukka Rask of Washington can also steal games for their teams. Alright, all good stuff. We have our name out there quite a bit. It doesn't matter what number I give you because you're going to be sent down. Alright, so I'm gonna see how things play out, and then I'll try and figure out if I keep Miller or Elliott. Maybe I keep both. Maybe I try to trade one. I'll see what happens. So let's play the month of October. And yeah, Nick Drazenovich would like to change his number to 10. Do I agree? Sure. Martin Ansel would like number 11. Do you agree? Huh? Okay. I'm a pretty relaxed guy. Alright. So we start this season on the road at Madison Square Garden against the Rangers. Oh, and the season is underway. And it starts with Joe Pavelski extending his point streak to 12 games with an assist against Colorado. Nice little streak for Joe Pavelski. Oh god, that was fast. The Rangers lost one game into the season and they decided to let go of Barry Trotz. So Barry Trotz is fired after just one game this season. And Don Sweeney is now going to be the coach with the Rangers. Jaromir Jagr extends his goal streak to 8 games with 2 goals and 2 assists against the Rangers. Ooh, that might be why the Rangers got rocked 8-0. Alright. Alright, so speaking of the Rangers, we are going to face them with their brand new coach here at Madison Square Garden. Let's take a look at the Rangers. I do believe I played them in preseason, but I'm more or less remember that. So Dennis Weidman is not going to be playing. He's hurt. Yeah, I remember they have good goaltending and OKD, but the forwards are really lacking. That's how I remembered it. Alright, so we are going to be on the road. So it's the start of a new season, so as usual, go Sens go. It looks like we're going with Brian Elliott again this year, so maybe it's Ryan Miller that I'm going to try and trade. Al Montoya is going to be in net for the Rangers, and let's see if we can win the first game of this season. They're going to be angry, they just got beat 8-0. And we won 3-2 in overtime, so tight game. Although we did outshoot the Rangers 52-19 in this game. Jason Spezza was the first star, he had a goal and 2 assists. Warren Peters was the second star with 2 assists. And Pavel Datsyuk was the 3rd star with a goal and an assist. Alright, so there was a fight in the first period. It was Tim Jackman against Ryan Callan. Then the Rangers opened up the scoring in the second period. They scored twice. And then Pavel Datsyuk scored right before the period ended from Jason Spezza. So it was 2-0 Rangers after 2. But in the third period, Marian Hossa tied game from Pavel Datsyuk and Jason Spezza. It was tied at 2. We went to overtime where Jason Spezza played the hero on the power play from Alexander Radulov and Joe Thornton. 3-2 is the final score. It was Joey Crabb that was in the box for elbowing. Ooh, bunch of players on waivers. Some of them paid over $1 million. So Mike Weaver, Wayne Primo, Mark Rycroft, Mike Brother. For a second I thought it was Martin Brother. I was like, are you kidding me? But yeah, it's Mike Brother. Sense fans should be familiar with Mike Brother. And Ed Jovanovski. Jovanovski is still a capable defenseman. I'm not going to pick him up though. He's had a couple rough seasons in a row, but he's still a star and a half. Yeah, and by the way, I'm about 5 million under the salary cap. So I am good with that. Alright, a bunch of news. Good night for Paul Carrier, who had a hat-trick against San Jose. Good little game. Joe Pavelski in that same game extended his point streak to 13 games. He scored a goal. Strong game for Ilya Kovalchuk, who had 3 goals and an assist against Tampa Bay. Alex Tanguy keeps fans on their feet all night in Colorado. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Canucks. Red light stays on for Blake Wheeler with Phoenix. He had a hat-trick against Los Angeles. Jaromir Jagr extends his goal streak to 9 games. He had 2 goals and an assist against the Islanders. Alrighty, and then in a couple days we are going to play on the road again against our rivals, the Leafs. Not in the game. In the game they're not considered a rival. That honor belongs to Tampa Bay instead. It makes lots of sense. Alright, so in Toronto against the Leafs. The Leafs are right now 0-1-1, which is good for 10th in the East. So let's take a look here, see. Alright, so Morozov. Oh, Alexei Morozov is with the Leafs now. He's not with Pittsburgh no more. So Morozov injured, won't play. So in net, it's Gustafsson and Jean-Sébastien Giguère. Looks like they could have kept Antti Niemi. Adrian Aucoin, Brendan Bell, Sergei Gonchar, Martin Skula, Kevin Bieksa, Luke Shen, and Ian White on D. The D is not too bad. Forward, it's Brad Boyce, Pony Karovsky, Alex Steen, Yuri Tolusti, Leo Komarov, Adam Hall, John Mitchell, Jason Williams, Travis Zajac, Nick Antropov, Ronnie Bork, David Moss, Nikolai Kulimin, and Eric Cole. Not too bad. Also not too great. Alright, let's play the Leafs. Yeah, we played them in preseason, that's what I thought. I think I made the comment that I thought that he could fight for a playoff spot, and that's still how I kind of feel. Alright, so Brian Elliott is going to be in net for us again, and he's going to be facing Jean-Sébastien Giguère. Oh, yikes. We lost that one 6-2. We don't usually get beat that bad. So we outshot Toronto 41-30. Sergei Gonchar was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Nick Antropov was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And the third star was Jean-Sébastien Giguère with 39 saves. So Toronto took a 3-0 lead into the first period, then scored 3 more in the second. So after 2, it was 6-0 Toronto. Yikes. And then in the third period, we had Pavel Datsyuk score on the power play from Jason Spezza and Mark Streit. And finally, Andre Meszaros from Mike Fisher. 6-2 is the final score. Oof, not a good game. Let's see if we can rebound after that. We're going to be hosting the Islanders here right tomorrow. Joe Pavelski's point streak ended at 13 games. He was held scoreless against the Kings. Alexander Simmon extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against Philadelphia. Jaromir Jagr extends his goal streak to 10 games with a goal and 2 assists against Phoenix. Strong game for Sidney Crosby in that same game. He had 3 goals and an assist. And that was 8 straight games with an assist for him. Alright, so the Islanders are in town. They are 0-1 this season. They have played only 1 game. So they are 14th in the East. Let's take a look here. Alright, no injuries in Long Island. So in net, it's going to be Roberto Luongo and Rick DiPietro. That's what they've had for a while now. On D, it's Andrew Ference, Chris Campoli, Travis Amonik, Niskala, Mickey Dupont, Zbigniew Michalek, Dick Tarnstrom. Yeah, it's a little rough on D. Up front, it looks a little bit better. Blake Comeau, Matt Martin, Patrick Torreson, Vili Peltonen, Mikhail Grabowski, John Tavares is a 19-year-old. Franz Nielsen, Robert Nilsson, Victor Ubel, Radzivojevic. Sorry, I think his name is Branko. Is that yeah, Branko Radzivojevic. Sorry. Some names I struggle with. JP Dumont, Kyle Poso, Zygmunt Palffy, and Michael Ryder. So the forward corp is definitely a little bit better. D struggling, and in net they should be fine. So it's a little bit of a weak D in Long Island. Let's see if we can beat them at home. We just got spanked, so we're going to come out angry, I hope. So Rick DiPietro is going to be in net for the Islanders. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 5-2, so much better outing here, much better effort. We outshot the Islanders 53-18. Jason Spezza was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with a goal and 2 assists, and Joe Thornton was the third star with a goal and an assist. So it was the first game at home, so we probably raised the banner of the champions in the rafters and everything, and there were 16,239 people at home for that. Joe Thornton opened up the scoring in the first from Alex Pietrangelo and Jason Spezza. Then Pavel Datsyuk scored on the power play from Spezza and Streit. Then the Islanders scored, and it was 2-1 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, the Islanders tied the game, and nobody else scored. So after 2, it was tied at 2. But we scored 3 goals in the third period. Patrick Eaves scored what was going to be the game winner, as I said, by Joe Thornton. Then Jason Spezza scored on the power play from Pavel Datsyuk, and then Alexander Radulov scored on the power play from Pavel Datsyuk and Jason Spezza. 5-2 was the final score. Nice little game. Right, so Tyler Arneson and Colin Stewart are available. Eric Belanger is back from suspension in LA, back in the lineup. Scott Arnold keeps fans on their feet all night. He had a hat trick against Colorado. Jaromir Jagr extends his goal streak to 11 games with a goal against Philadelphia. That's pretty crazy. He scored in 11 straight games. And that's 12 straight games with a point for him. Sidney Crosby extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist in that same game against Philly. Joe Pavelski has a memorable game. He had 4 assists against Columbus. Vincent Lecavalier has racked up 300 goals in his career so far with a goal against the New Jersey Devils. So 29-year-old Vincent Lecavalier, 3.5-star player. And Marc-Andre Fleury signed an extension with Pittsburgh. 4-year extension, $19,040,000 total. Right, so we're a little bit on a home stretch. We already played 1 and then 3 more games at home before we hit the road for 1 game. Mike Motto is available. I'm not picking him up. Tanner Glass in Florida is suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. Tony Ludman loves his fans, so he gave gift cards and pizza. What a cool guy Tony Ludman is. Alright, and now we are going to be hosting the Atlanta Thrashers. So Atlanta is 2-0 so far this season. That's good for 4th in the East. We'll take a look at their lineup. Oh, there's a couple injuries in here. So Kari Lehtonen is hurt, so their best goaltender is hurt. We're not going to be facing him. And Jason Blake is also hurt, not going to play. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Alright, so in net it's going to be Peter Budaj and Andrei Pavlich. Tobias Enstrom, Aaron Rome, Dennis Seidenberg, Jordan Leopold. Oh, they picked up Jordan Leopold that I let go. Dan Boyle, Zach Bogosian, Trevor Daley, and Burton Coburn on D. So that is pretty good. Evander Kane, Ilya Kovalchuk, Marcus Naslund, Semi Kapanen, Derek Armstrong, Brian Little, Dominic Moore, Maxim Afinogenov, Tom Kostopoulos, Chris Clark. It's Jeremy Morin, I think. Yeah, Jeremy Morin, Jari Lehtonen, and Antunen. Atlanta has a decent team. They're going to be even better when Kari Lehtonen comes back in net. Let's see if we can beat them, though. Give them their first loss of the season. So Peter Budaj is going to be in net. We are going to Brian Elliott still. Oh, we won 6-0. Take that, Atlanta. We outshot Atlanta 48-12. Joe Thornton was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Alex Pietrangelo was the second star with 3 assists. And Brooks Lake was the third star with a goal. 18,323 people in attendance for this game. Brooks Lake scored first early in the first period from Alex Pietrangelo and Joe Thornton. Then Joe Thornton from Alex Pietrangelo and Matt Unwick. And then Joe Thornton again on the power play from Jason Spezza. It was 3-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second, Pavel Datsyuk scored on the power play from Drew Doughty and Marianosa. It was 4-0 Sens after 2. Then in the third period, Anton Volchenkov scored short-handed from Drew Doughty and Pavel Datsyuk, and Patrick Eves from Andre Meszaros and Alex Pietrangelo, and it was 6-0, and that was how this nice little game ended. And Marianosa is injured. He is day-to-day. Bruised shoulder. Alright, shouldn't be too long, hopefully. Yeah, it says day-to-day. So when it says day-to-day, I usually leave them on the lineup. When it says 1 to 2 weeks, I usually put them on the injured reserve. So it's going to stay there. And tomorrow we are facing Pittsburgh. It's going to be a good game. They are pretty good. Ville Peltonen has recorded 1,000 games played in his career. That that happened against Boston. He did get a goal to celebrate. So 36 years old, Vili Peltonen, still a 2.5-star player. Memorable night for Rostislav Olish in Florida. He had a hat-trick against the Devils. Jaromir Jagr's point streak ended at 12 games. He was held scoreless against Toronto. Sidney Crosby's assist streak ended at 9 games in that same game. So Toronto played some good D there against the Stars of Pittsburgh. Ooh, which Sedin got suspended? Daniel Sedin is suspended for 5 games in Vancouver. Alright, and and now Pittsburgh is in town, so Pittsburgh is 4-1. And they are first in the East. That sounds familiar because that's what happened last season. So let's take a look. Alright, so Tyler Kennedy is not going to be playing that game. He is hurt. In net, it's Marc-Andre Fleury, who just got a contract extension, and Josh Harding. Christian Heroff, Mark Fistrick, who I just let go. Wow, I'm seeing all of the players that I didn't resign on other teams. Alex Galigoski, Sandis Ozelinch, Brooks Orpik, Garrett Stafford, Jeff Finger, and Barrett Jackman on D. Could be a little bit better, I suppose. I mean, it's not completely terrible. The forwards, too. Jaromir Jagr, Sean Bergenheim, Dustin Jeffrey, Sergei Varlamov, Jochen Hecht, David Desharnais. Oh, he's in Pittsburgh. Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Travis Marne, Jordan Stahl, Tyler Kennedy, Patrick Sharp, and Ryan Malone. Should be an interesting game. They're pretty good. So Marc-Andre Fleury is going to be in net. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 4-3 in overtime, about just as good as we could have expected it to be. It went the distance. And we were actually outshot in that game 36-29. Joe Thornton was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Evgeny Malkin was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Brooks Laich was the third star with a goal and an assist. We had 16,287 people in attendance for this game. Patrick Keefe scored first on the power play from Brooks Laich and Pavel Datsyuk. Then Pittsburgh scored 2 quick goals in 52 seconds to take a 2-1 lead, but then Jason Spezza scored shortly after that on the power play from Joe Thornton and Mark Streit, and it was tied at 2 after 1. Then in the second period, Joe Thornton scored from Ryan Callahan. It was 3-2 Sens at this point. Then in the third period, Evgeny Malkin tied the game at 3, so we went to overtime where Brooks Laich scored the game winner from Jason Spezza and Mark Streit. 4-3, the victory! Whee! Ethan Moreau has played in 1,000 games, so Ethan Moreau is still with the Blackhawks. Did not get a point in his 1,000 game. That happened against the Flames. 34 years old, Ethan Moreau, 1.5-star player. Alright, so in a couple days we are going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning. A strong night for Corey Perry, who had a hat-trick against the Wild. And Zdeno Chara is going to come back soon. So Chara's only a 3-star player, so he's not as strong as he is in real life. I would think that he's at least a 4-star player in real life. I mean, maybe not right now, today in 2020, but definitely at 32 years old, he was pretty much in his prime. All right, so Tampa Bay is in town, so they are 3-2, which is good for 9th in the East. And we are going to look at their lineup. Right, so Vincent Cavalier is hurt. He's not going to play that game with hamstring soreness. So, oh boy. Right, so in net, it's going to be a little tough for them. They have Alex Old and Koshechkin is still there. And then on D, they have Victor Edmond and a bunch of other people. Ty Wishart, Pavel Kubina, Jeff Kinraid, Ossa Vananen, Marc-Andre Bergeron, Bryce Salvador, and Francis Bouillon. So the D past Victor Edmond, that D is really not very good. Byron Ritchie, Donatiro, Ivan Hummel, Yarko Ruutu, Karitanov, Lanko, Tarneski, Perrin, Lecavalier, Stamkos, Seshura, Richards, and Rich Beverly. So the forwards are a lot better. Even then, there's a few O's in that lineup. I don't expect for Tampa Bay to keep it up and make the playoffs. We never know. I don't think so. Alright, Alex Hold's going to be in net for Tampa Bay. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 6-1. We outshot Tampa Bay 45-17. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Sam Gagner was a second star with 2 assists. And Anton Volchenkov was a third star with a goal and an assist. We had 17,003 people in attendance for this game. Pavel Datsyuk opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 5th of the season from Patrick Eves and Anton Volchenkov. 1-0 Sens after 1. Then in the second period, we had Jason Spezza score on the power play from Pavel Datsyuk and Alexander Radulov. Then Alexander Radulov scored on the power play from Mark Streit and Pavel Datsyuk. 3-0 after 2. And then we went into the third period. Matt Onwick scored from Patrick Eves and Sam Gagner. Then Matt Onwick again on the power play from Sam Gagner and Chris Kelly. Anton Volchenkov scored from Martin Ansel. And then finally, Tampa Bay scored a goal to prevent us from getting a shutout. How dare he? Alright, so 6-1 final score. Pretty good game again. Zdeno Chara is ahead of schedule, and he might be there soon. Marinosa ready already? I hope so. Patrick Eves, a sideline with gluteus strain. Okay, I have to deal with that. Alright, 1-2. So we are going to put Patrick Eves on the injured reserve, and we are going to recall somebody. Oh, we have a lot more forwards than we do defensemen. Alright, so let's see. I think I'm gonna get Eric Condra up. I felt a little bad to send him down, to be honest, so. But I have only so many spots. Alright, Zdeno Chara is about to come back, so is Marinosa. Alright, so we are in Montreal to play against the Habs. Montreal is 4-2 this season. That's good for 6th in the East. Let's take a look at their team. So the experts are saying that they're going to have a pretty good season. So Louis Eriksson is hurt. He's not going to be playing. Alright, in net, of course, it's Carey Price and Yaroslav Alak, so that's pretty good. Yeah, they have a pretty good team. Beauchemin is hurt, but he might play. Andrei Markov, PK Subban, Matthew Schneider, Tim Gleason. Wow, another player that I let go ends up on somebody else's team. Darren Quint, Ryan McDonough, Jack Johnson, and Sammy Lepisto. Yeah, that's pretty good D right there. Alexander Frolov, Chris Higgins, Max Pacioretty, David Perron, Justin Williams, Stephen Weiss, Gilbert Brûlé, Derek McKenzie, Thomas Plekanec, Steve Ott, Mike Ribeiro, and Teddy Purcell. Yeah, they have a good team. Not going to be an easy game, especially if Carey Price is on his game. So Carey Price in net for Montreal. We are still going to Brian Elliott. And we lost 1-0 in overtime. Yikes. Actually, it wasn't a shootout, so both goaltenders get a shutout, technically. Alright, so Montreal outshot us 29-26 in that one, and there's absolutely nothing to report other than the game-winning goal was scored by Teddy Purcell, and then Marian Ossoff didn't score, so we lost that one 1-0 in the shootout. Alright, Nick Tarneski is suspended in Tampa Bay. He's going to miss 4 games. Brendan Siegel is suspended in Nashville. He's going to miss 6 games. Alright, and we are headed back home for a couple games. We are about to host the Nashville Predators in 4 days. Alright, Marian Hossa is back in the lineup. That is good. And Zdeno Chara is ready as well. Now I have to make a decision. Who am I sending down? I don't want to send Scott Niedermayer down. I can't do that. Yeah. I guess I'm gonna send Matt Unwick down. Sorry, buddy. But the captain's coming back in the lineup. Alright. Matt Moulson has a great game. He had a hat trick against the Buffalo Sabres. Memorable game for Mikhail Grabowski with the Islanders. He had a hat trick against Carolina. Alrighty, so Nashville is in town. Another team that is touted to be pretty good this year. They are 5-2-1 this season, so that's a pretty good record. I do believe we played them in preseason. So Kevin Klein is hurt, not gonna play, and Brendan Siegel is suspended, also not gonna play. Yeah, we did play them. I remember that lineup. Pretty good D, pretty good forwards, pretty good goaltending, so yeah, it's a pretty good team. Right, Chad Johnson in net for Nashville. We are going to Brian Elliott yet again. And we won 7-2 against a really good team, too. And we outshot them 55-9. Joe Thornton was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Brooks Laich was the second star with 2 goals and an assist. And Ryan Callahan was the third star with a goal and an assist. 18,154 people in attendance for that game. Brooks Laich opened up the scoring in the first from Joe Thornton and Alex Pietrangelo. Then he scored again from Ryan Callahan and Zdeno Chara. Then Martin Havlat scored from Alexander Radulov and Drew Doughty. And then Nashville scored, and it was 3-1 Sens after 1. In the second period, we had Pavel Datsyuk score from Jason Spezza, then Nashville scored, and then we scored again. It was Marian Hossa on the power play from Chris Kelly and Joe Thornton. It was 5-2 after 2, and there was a fight between Ryan Callahan and Vernon Fiddler. Then finally, in the third period, we had Ryan Callahan score from Joe Thornton and Brooks Laich. Then Jason Spezza scored his 5th from Marian Hossa and Chris Kelly. 7-2 is the final score in Zdeno Chara's return. David Booth extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against Phoenix. And we are about to host the Boston Bruins. Memorable night for Matt Moulson again. He had a hat-trick against Pittsburgh. Look at him. Suspension over for Tanner Glass in Florida, back in the lineup. Alright. And then Cal Chipchura got hurt while helping a friend move. We have not seen that one in a while. I used to make fun of that news all the time, but now it's the first time in a very long time we've seen it. So Cal Chipchura is hurt. He's going to miss 2 weeks playing for Detroit. Alrighty. So now the Boston Bruins are in town. They are 5-4. That's good for 6th in the East. Oh, Patrice Bergeron is hurt, so he's not going to be playing. So in net, it's Yevgeny Nabokov and Tomas Vokoun. That's been those two for a while now. John Michael Lyles, Brett Clark, Konstantin Kostov. No, it's not Konstantin Kostov. It's Kirill Kostov. Konstantin was a forward. I always make that mistake. Craig Rivet, Andre Benoit, and David Tanabe on D. It's not great. Josh Bailey, Chris Neal, Andy Murray, Milan Lucic, Frederick Modine, Josef Stampo, Cal Riley, David Krejci, Peter Regan, Nate Thompson, Oli Jokinen, Eric Christensen, Daniel Zubrus, Phil Kessel, and Vili Nieminen at forward. Yeah, there's kind of a hole in that lineup without Patrice Bergeron. It's still an okay lineup. Alright, Tomas Vokoun is in net. We are going to Brian Elliott once and forever. And we won in overtime, 3-2. We outshot the Bruins 47-29. Pavel Datsyuk was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Nate Thompson was a second star with a goal, and Alex Pietrangelo was the third star with an assist. 17,307 people in attendance for this game. Boston scored twice in the first, took a 2-0 lead. Then we scored once in the second period. It was Marian Hossa from Jason Spezza and Pavel Datsyuk. Then a bunch of penalties in the second period as well. And in the third period, we have Drew Doughty scoring short-handed from Pavel Datsyuk to tie the game at 2. And then in overtime, Anton Volchenkov was the hero. He scored, assisted by Alex Pietrangelo. 3-2, the final score. Right, Ryan Craig has a strong game for San Jose. He had a hat-trick against Atlanta. David Booth extends his goal streak to 6 games with a goal against Colorado. Daniel Sedin is back in the lineup after serving his suspension. Alright, and we are now heading south to play in Florida against the Panthers in a few days. There was no stopping Rick Nash, who had 3 goals and an assist against the Kings. Louis Eriksson has a memorable game with Montreal. He had 4 goals against the Islanders. That's a pretty good game. And Nigel Dawes with the Rangers is hurt. He's going to be out for 5 months due to a concussion. And Patrick Eaves is starting to feel better. Jordan Tutu and Corey Sarich are available. Oops, sorry. I don't know what happened there. I had a brain bubble. David Booth had extended his goal streak to 7. I'm sorry about that. A strong game for Andrew Brunette, who had 4 goals against Philadelphia. That's pretty good. Alright, and we are now in Florida to play against the Panthers, who are pretty good so far this season. Florida is 7-2, so it looks like they're starting to turn things around in there. That's good for 5th in the East. We have not played them so far this season. Alright, no injuries for the Panthers. Alright, so in net it's Jacob Markstrom and Jason LaBarbera. So that's not all that great. Jay Boomister, Randy Jones, or Ryan Jones. Which one of the two is it? That's Randy. Corey Murphy, Jason Garrison, Yuri Fisher, Douglas Murray, Tanner Glass, Nathan Horton, Matt Molson, Rostislav Olesh, Sergei Samsonov, Gregory Campbell, Ryan Kessler, Tatsisek, Connolly, Parrish, Frolik, Stewart, Uzelius, Sushinsky, and Oreskovich. That's a decent team. There's a few O's, so there's a few alpha star players on that lineup, like Sergei Samsonov is now pretty much done. Alright, let's see if we can win in Florida. Brian Elliott is still the starter for the Suns, and Jacob Markstrom is going to be in net for Florida. And we won 5-1. We outshot the Panthers 50-10. Mike Fisher was the first star. He had a goal and an assist. Pavel Datsyuk was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Drew Doughty was the third star with an assist as well. Alright, so the Sens took a 3-0 lead into the first period. It started with Pavel Datsyuk on the power play from Jason Spezza and Joe Thornton. Then Brooks Laich scored his 5th from Joe Thornton and Ryan Callahan. And then Mike Fisher from Drew Doughty and Marian Hossa. 3-0 after 1. There was a fight between Gregory Campbell and Ryan Callahan. So it looks like Chara's not fighting as much this year. Looks like it's Ryan Callahan that does that now. Alright, then in the second period, we have Alexander Radulov scoring on the power play from Jason Spezza and Pavel Datsyuk. Then Zdeno Chara scored from Mike Fisher and Chris Kelly. And then Florida scored a goal, made it 5-1 Ottawa. And that was it. 5-1 is the final score. Oh, Mark Fistrick is suspended in Pittsburgh. He's going to miss 3 games. Alright, and right there we are playing against Tampa Bay again. So that's the second time this season we are playing against them. This time it's going to be in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is now 4-5 and are 13th in the East. We are 1-0 against Tampa Bay. We beat them 6-1 at home earlier this month. Ryan Miller is going to be in net for us. He's going to be facing Alex Old. And we won 4-1. We outshot Tampa Bay 49-16. Ryan Callahan is the first star of the game with a goal and an assist. Joe Thornton was the second star with a goal and an assist as well. And Jason Spezza was a third star with 2 assists. So Tampa Bay scored first, and then we scored 3 more times in the first. Ryan Callahan scored from Brooks Lake and Joe Thornton. Then Joe Thornton scored his 5th from Ryan Callahan, and Pavel Datsyuk from Jason Spezza and Anton Volchenkov. 3-1 Sens after 1. Then nobody scored in the second, and at the end of the game, Zdeno Chara scored in an empty net from Drew Doughty and Jason Spezza, and 4-1 was the final score. Damon Lenko has arrived at 1,000 games against us, so didn't get a point in that game. 33 years old, Damon Lenko, 1.5 star player. Alright, and we have 1 game left here in October. It's going to be at home against the Trashers. Oh, Tuukka Rask is hurt. He's going to be day-to-day. Ryan Smith has racked up 400 goals in his career, with a goal against Detroit. 33 years old, Ryan Smith, 2-star player. David Booth extends his goal streak to 8 games with 2 goals in that same game against the Oilers. Alright, and it is Halloween night. Jake Dowell in Anaheim is suspended. He's going to miss a game. No additional missed time for Washington's Marty Yarventi. And Patrick Eaves is going to be back very soon. Alright, last game of the month, Halloween night. Everybody's eating candy. We are hosting the Atlanta Trashers. We already beat them once this season. Trashers are now 4-5, which is good for 14th in the East. They have dropped quite a bit since last time we played them. Kari Lettonen's going to be in net for them. We are going to Brian Elliott. And we won 3-0, so both of our victories against Atlanta so far have been by shutout. We outshot them 55-11. Pavel Datsyuk was the 1st star. He had a goal and an assist. Jason Spezza was the 2nd star with a goal and an assist as well. And Marian Hossa was the 3rd star despite not getting any points. 19,022 people in attendance for this game. Jason Spezza scored first in the first period from Pavel Datsyuk. Then in the second period, Chris Kelly scored on the power play from Jason Spezza and Mark Streit. And in the third period, we have Pavel Datsyuk from Joe Thornton and Ryan Callahan. And 3-0 is the final score. Nice little game. Alright, there's quite a few things here going on. So Nate Thompson with Boston lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick against Edmonton. Strong night for Tony Lundman in Calgary. He had 5 assists against the Red Wings. Pretty good game indeed. Brendan Siegel is back in the lineup for Nashville. Same for Jake Dowell in Anaheim. Good game for ex-Ottawa Senator Patrick Eliash, who had 3 goals and 2 assists against Pittsburgh. Wow. He has 13 points in 14 games, so he still had some gas in the tank. Strong game for Marian Gaborik, who had 2 goals and 4 assists in that same game. Nick Tarnowski is back from suspension in Tampa Bay, back in the lineup. Patrick Eaves almost back. Right, and the players of the month were Sidney Crosby and Brian Elliott. Yeah, that makes me wonder. Maybe I can trade Ryan Miller. I am seriously thinking about it. I'm sure I can get something really decent for him. Alright, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and save my game, and I will think about it off screen, because I could think about it for a very long time. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and take a look at the standings. So we are first in the East. we have a couple teams that are close to us, so that's not a given. In the West, it's pretty early, but in the West, it looks like San Jose is first, Chicago, Calgary, Anaheim, Columbus, Colorado, Minnesota, and Detroit. Colorado was the worst team in the league last year. Now they are in a playoff spot. Who is the worst team in the league so far? That's a tie between Carolina and Dallas. Alright, we are going to take a look at our stats. I do believe that I have a couple guys that are a point per game or very close at the very least. So, yeah, I have 3 guys. So, Jason Spezza has 21 points in 12 games, Datsuk 20 in 12, and Thornton 16 in 12. And it drops to 8 and 12, 7, and our best defensemen for points are Doughty. Are Doughty and Pietrangelo and Stride. Okay. For some reason I got confused. I'm not sure why. Oh, that's because I was looking at the plus minuses. Okay. Alright, so far so good. We have a pretty good record. Let's take a look in the league. See if we have a couple guys showing up in the leaders there. Alright, so the best goal scorer is Jaromir Jagr with 11. Our best is Pavel Datsuk with 9. That's 6th in the league. Best passer is Sidney Crosby with 16 assists. Spezza is 2nd with 15. And the best player is Sidney Crosby with 26 points. Our best is Spezza with 21. That's good for 3rd in the league. Alright, so we are going to save the game. Alright, so what do you guys think? Should I trade Elliott because he's doing really good and keep Ryan Miller, or should I trade Ryan Miller, who is a 5-star player instead of a 4-star player like Brian Elliott is? But Brian Elliott is 5 years younger, so should I trade Elliott to force Lindy Ruff to play Ryan Miller, or should I keep Elliott because he's been doing fine and get rid of Miller and try to get a really good return? Alright, so that's where we're at. So I don't remember if I saved. I think I did. So I'm going to go ahead and just save again. Alright, so as usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in. And if you've liked the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.